Hello and welcome back. Now we are preparing the cash framework. We are understanding the cash framework and then we're going to look toward the cash budget. This session is specifically working for the cash frameworks and the cash budget. In the cash budget, we're going to look some of the more important things. I'll show you side by side, and we're gonna work on some case study working as well. How do we prepare the cash budget on an Excel? First of all, let us understand the cash framework. The framework starts from cash. T means how do I collect my receivables? It also called the collection efficiency. Quickly collecting receivables allows for immediate use of funds in operations, investments, or a debt payment. All right. So if I collect my receivables on a time, I would be getting a very best funds for reinvestments in my business, for the debt repayments, for equity buyback share payments, or we gonna invest in some property, plant, and equipment. I need to explain some of the very important things, and you need to understand those things. First, very important point that if you implement an automated invoicing system, example, your digital invoices, or you manage your account receivables digitally, that would be very helpful for collecting your receivables on a time, for making your cash debit and receivables credit on the time. In the next, you prepare an aging analysis of your receivables, that how much the time frame my certain receivable takes to give me the payment. Our payments are to be made timely, and the system developed as the system automated invoicing and my aging analysis developed. Is very helpful for collection on a time. My receivables consider a longer period, but I need to make it shorter, or give some early settlement discounts, or give some cash discounts to my receivables when they pay me or when they pay back on a time. All of these things are to be meant if there is an automated system available. And yes, it's 2024. The organization tends to prepare an automated system for the collections, as well as for my invoices, as well as for my account receivable balances managing. Similarly, the next, I need to prepare my forecasting, my budgets, my projections need to be accurate and wisely distributed. My forecasting helps in the liquidity purposes. My forecasting helps in getting the bank loans. My forecasting helps to maintain my cash reserves. My forecasting helps my cash budget to maintain my receivables, my payables, my other payments, and my revenues. For this, for the forecasting, I tend to use my financial forecasting softwares if there is any available. If the company isn't using the forecasting software, it will be working on an Excel to adjust the forecast. I need to make a variance analysis for my forecasting and my actual comparison. I need to compare, I need to collaborate with my other departments, either sales, operations, procurement, to get a data insight to make a forecasted financial statement. My balance sheet include the cash as a current asset. My balance sheet include account receivable as a current asset. My balance sheet include account payables as a current liability. All of these assets and the liabilities, or the current assets and the current liabilities, are being projected, forecasted on my actual terms decided by my team. My team include the sales team. My team include the procurement team for the suppliers. My team include operation teams for the expenses. And then after all the team insights, all the workings, I tend to prepare the forecasted model. That's why we are learning working on and forecasting financial modeling course. If I furtherly explain, next thing we're gonna stream my expenses. My operational costs need to be decreased when I implement my financial strategies or the corporate strategies. After my financial strategies or corporate strategies, I need to see my cash available, my petty cash available, or cash at bank available to maintain my expenses, to maintain a streamlined process of my expenses. For an expenses process, I need to audit my expenses. I need to audit my all inefficiencies to regularly maintain my balances. I need to maintain my suppliers. I need to maintain my costs. I need to maintain my purchases. Those are being negotiated with my suppliers. All of these things are being the part of my cash frameworks and other guidelines. These are the essential portion of my financial model development. Use the cost saving techniques or automation. Yes, I need to prepare an invoicing system. I need to prepare an aging analysis for my suppliers as well as my receivables to stream, to collect, to automate my system and to reduce the collection time period, the payment time period, and to maintain their balances for the forecasting as well as for my variances analysis. My investments should be healthy. My reinvestments from my cash collections, my net cash balances should be very helpful for the future cash flow development, for the free cash flow development, for the inventory management, and for my cash reserves as well. These are very helpful. For inventory management, very important thing, I need to develop just-in-time inventory management system as well for my inventory procurement development, for my suppliers aging analysis. I need to develop a relationship between my process of evaluating my investments and my some other workings. I need to see my assets. I need to see my liabilities, which are very helpful for my investments. As a point of investment, I need to review, I need to make an audit of my assets. I need to consider my full depreciable assets. I need to consider my half depreciable assets and which depreciable assets are giving me more benefits than other. Those assets, all those things need to be considered very important, and thus those are the underperforming assets. Those need to be adjusted. I hope you understand the cash framework in a very deeply. And in the next, we're going to prepare the cash budget. Let me open my Excel workbook, and I hope you're going to also prepare a cash budget along with me. Excel. Just wait for a second. And yes, I got to prepare my Excel. First of all, I need to hide my grid lines, sheet name. So I am going to prepare a horizontal approach of my model, yet I am preparing the cash budget model. It says no cell phone. Yes, because my shift button was being pressed. I hope you are being understanding. At the top, I need to refer my company name that it's being Sita Limited. Below, I need to mention what I am preparing for the time period. So I am preparing my cash line items. Next, I need to prepare my cash budget for January, for my February. Then I have my March balance. I got to see my April's, May, and June. I am preparing. my balance for the 3 months, the 6 months. Cash lineups. First of all, I need to record my revenue collections. Similarly, I need to make revenue collections from product B, and if there is any other revenue that would be considered as a services revenue collection. My cash sales need to be considered. My directly cash sales, I hope you are preparing and you will be learning very best. For the January bonuses, I am assuming some of an amount, and what furtherly amount do I need to consider, that will be shown to you in just a break. So these are just a revenue collection. Alt plus key from a keyboard, pressing an enter key. It explains that 61,800 are being the my total revenue collection. Cash, as we are preparing the cash budget, so it would be helpful for allocating all my cash balances, and thus you want to see some of the formatting side by side. You would be learning an advanced Excel formatting and some of the further things with me in this course. This course is very wonderful for you. Shift and the right arrow towards my June balances. Control B, making the result bold. Alt H B, I need to add the top border, Alt H and FM to open some further formatting. My currencies, decreasing it, making it happen toward the PKR, loading it down, and thus my balances have been loaded. For the February balance, I'm just assuming and working with my sensitivities and some scenario developments. Here at the top, I need to mention my inflation rate that I am yet considering a 12% rate. So my inflation is being the 12%. I'm going to collect my revenues ahead of a 12% than my previous person, than my previous result. So last year multiply by my 1 plus and what is an inflation rate, selecting it F4 key to lock myself, enter my result, and thus I got my balances control R. Similar way, I need to do it for my further working. Selecting my cells, pacing it downwards for my working. Control V, and then again Control V. To get my balances working, it saves my time, F2 key, and see how very well my formula is being working. Shift right arrow to copy the format of my subtotals to get my result. Here I got to prepare my cash budget from my line items. Selecting the things Control B, headers, Alt HB, and now I need to add the top and the bottom border. Total revenue collections. I need to see my cash collections from my receivables A. If there's a name of a receivable A, tend to make something tab and then F2 key, making it towards a receivable B, and similarly, I need to make it towards C. Making a healthy model, Other below, I need to see my total cash collection or a cash balance, which sums up my cash collection revenues and my receivables as well. It gives a value error because I didn't tend to use some of the formula that would be useful in just a second, opening a sum function which relates my things and then adding it. Yet I got my balances. Shift right arrow control R control B, making it bold. I hope till now you have been understanding the things, the formatting and things Alt HB. Again, the top border. How do I collect my receivables? I am assuming that my receivables of A in a January are being 25% of my revenue collection. It takes some second and give me automated result. This is an example of an automated system being developed. Similarly, I need to go toward account receivables B and I am tending it to be again 40% of my receivable balance, or I can make it toward 25% again, but that would be the same result. I need to see something better approach. Some better things need to be determined. I am summing my total cash collections and my receivable balances, multiplying by my 35%. Let's make up a sauce. Make it a very important and interesting thing. Now you see you get a better result. And for the collection of a receivable C, I am using a B balance, multiplying it with my 15% collection. Let's just make a simple and though lower thing. I hope you are learning side by side and you are understanding very much with me how do the balances appears. Shift and the right arrow, let me select all my balances. Going towards some of the formatting. Furtherly, these are being mentioned as a currency. Symbol need to be PKR. It need to be Pakistani symbol. No decimal spaces. So I got to make the cash collections. Now I am making some of the payments for my selling expenses, payments or selling expenses, cash payment. Cash payment for selling expenses. Similarly, I am making cash payment for my admin expenses. I paid up cash for my furniture building. Company paid up cash for the furniture that yet to be paid in May as an amount of 90,000 or whatever I need to see the things. I'm yet making my selling expenses a 5% of my total thing, cash collection. Similar way, my admin ought to be 15%. As you know, admin includes some of the salaries, some of the director remunerations, and some further working. So cash collections, these need to be considered. I need to make it format as well. Alt HVS. I only need to make the format that saves the time. These are just shortcut keys. I hope you learn side by side with me. So here out and below, I need to go towards my cash workings as a cash payments for admin cash payment for selling my furniture payments and some further movements. Total cash payments. I tend to be there's an error in my formula collections. Yes, I added a parenthesis again that need to be changed. Shift right arrow control or control B to make it a bold, Alt HB and make it towards the top border working, Alt HB. Expenses need to be seen it in just an outside the border payments. Net cash available, which relates my total cash collections and my payments. Control B, Alt HB. I need to add a top and the bottom border. Selecting my cells, Control C, and I need to make the format add below, selecting all my cells, Shift and the right arrow, Alt H V S, making it with the format. I just don't need to share my format, and yet that's been working. They added the borders. I don't need to see the borders. Alt HB, remove some borders yet and make it more happily. Alt HB. I need to add a top border to make the thing happen. I hope now you are learning very much effectively side by side with me. Selecting all my cells again, Alt H, F, and M for the formatting. Removing the decimal space, making it towards the PKR or just Alt H, F, M. Make the things currency that need to be shifted towards the PKR. I hope you understand the model, how the inflated things gonna be work on. Setting it or HB, I need to make an outside border. It says press an S to develop an outside border. Now inflation is 12% and it is being considered in my February to the June month. I am making it towards the 19%. I got my updated result, making it 29%. This year, some further working, 10%, and relate some workings. I hope you understand the things and how dynamically your scenario is being worked. And if I want to work on, if I relate a drop down balance here, I need to relate the thing. See, all of balances are being equal. Here in the cell, Alt and then I need to go towards my data or the formula. For the formula, it says press M. I need to add some of the things. What are the things I need to see? I need to add a drop down list. I hope that is being shifted again towards something towards my data. Yeah, data validation. I need to add a data validation. It says any value no. A list. I need to see a list. That list I need to be placed from my P cell. Selecting the source and making it line with my P towards. Now you see there are the 3 to 4 things that need to be shown here. On toward the list, I need to make a drop down P2. I need to make it toward the 10%, again 12%, making it towards 15%, drop down relating, and here towards the 17%. I hope you understand the things here toward the drop down. It explains some of my workings. 10% result have been updated. 12% workings. And here you got to see the 15%. And if I go toward my 17% result. I hope you understand how the drop downs are being prepared. Just need to hide my things going toward the home, a better approach that change the font color towards the white, which relates the thing. And if I need to make a very well dynamic model that relates the thing, just select it P2 towards the P5 and make it a conditional format as well. Formatting, it says what I need to format. Removing the things I need to make it a conditional formatting. Here under the styles, I have it says highlight the cell rules equals to map balances. Format the cells that are being equal toward my this cell and light red or whatever it needs. I'll be clicking OK and now you see. And if I change my 17% toward the 12%, it will be highlighting that cells. On a P, I am going to type it highlighted inflated rate. That means we are working with this range. Yet you can see that it's being a 12%, changing it towards some further workings that make towards 15%. Here you got the approach toward the 15%. This is how the cash budget is being prepared dynamically and being working for the company for the period of 6 months. To the sheet 2, here I need to see an analysis or a summary of my cash budget. Or I need to go toward my view sheet W and then it says hide my grid lines VG that needs to be highlighted. My sheet, I need to add a top title for my sheet, Alt H and then MC that would be middle align. My thing, I need to align some further things. Summary of a cash budget need to be placed here. Alt HFS font size I'm changing toward the 25 that relates my working. So first of all, when my inflation is 10%, what is the result? Let me go back, change it, and result. I'm going to show you how do you approach your workings towards the things. Control C. I got my balances going toward my summary thing. And here, Alt H V. I need to make the things that relates it. S, I need to paste it. I only need to see my values. This saves my time. Just don't be moving it. Again, Alt H V S. Furtherly, see, it says select the destination and paste the value. Yes, my values are being pasted, but those are being pasted from a keyboard shortcut. The computer doesn't recognize those things. A very thing that only I need to show my formatting. Okay, and that now you see the things are being formatted for you. I hope you understand this magic. This saves your time. You don't need to move furtherly. That if column C is being blank, I need to remove it. Furtherly, I need to small or adjust the column width of column A. Now you see column A map things are to be formatted. Yet see my inflation rate is 15%, and that was being captured here in the front. I got to see my 15% result, and yes, my highest inflation, or I make towards the 10% inflation. Now, what are the 10% inflation results? Just the things gonna be moving. We need to do the same things as we performed here again to see the 10% inflated results. Selecting it with the 10%, and here I got my workings. Selecting it again, Control C, and then I'm gonna furtherly moving toward my summary sheet, pasting where I need to see it, Alt H V S, my furtherly workings. First of all, I need to paste my values, enter those, Alt H V S. I need to format my values as well. That will be copied from my previous or my values from I copied it. Selecting the format option, and yes, it is being formatted. I hope you understand the things, how the things gonna be move on. Delete the column to the key, and now you see result that your 10% growth gonna be shown, and then 15%. Those are the results for appropriate things. I hope you learned very much, and here's the difference you got to see. The third very important thing that I need to make my cache visuals. These are being the part of my view pane, furtherly workings, how the things gonna result it. Equal sign that relates my workings from my linking the things that saves the time. I need to see first of all my revenues, cash from revenues, and my cash sales comparison. equals towards my January balances, going my back and very first thing, and here I got my working. Or I can do something that my revenue of a product A, product B are not being yet summed. My total revenue collection include the cash sales. I need to deduct that. I hope you understand the things. What are my cash sales gonna relate it with my workings? Controller. I hope you understand the things and how the things are being moving dynamically, selecting the cells, control, and a queue to open the quick bar charts. I need to see some of the charts. It says what I need to make it, my revenues, and my cash comparisons. I am making it a column chart. Formatting it, I don't need to see my vertical format need to hide. My grid lines, my legends need to be placed at the top. Save the space. Data labels, if that is being very helpful. Yep, that is being very helpful. I need to see some of the further things. Error bars which relates my result. Nope, that's the thing. If I need to see the trend line, what my trend goes for my cash sales, if I see if it is moving upward, but that's not a good approach to make the things heavily and upwardly. What should be the title? Title should be cash from my revenues versus cash sales. Setting the title control B, making it happen. I need to place it side by side. That saves my space. Setting all those and making it a format. I don't need to see my decimals. Let me decrease the decimals. Yep, now you see a better thing. Now you see cash from revenues and the cash sales are being comparison side by side. And yes, you are learning very effectively. Then furtherly working. I need to make a comparison of my cash collections and the cash payments. Again, go and save the team. Cash collections, cash payments. For the time period that being related towards my January balance, I need to make it with the shift and the right arrow. Control R. That saves the time. My balances are to be linked equals to my previous balance. And yes, here are my cash collections. Flash fill my series toward the furtherly workings, cash payments, setting it and making a chart, making it a greater proportion towards my things, control X, facing it some of the side that saves the thing, whatever the option I need to see, that's the best thing. Making it towards the percentage or whatever the thing I need to see, just making it. I need to turn off my data labels. This is not looking a good thing. Financial storytelling techniques are to be understood very much. My legend need to be placed at the top. Headlines need to be high. That relates my working. Chart title need to be seen it as my collections versus the payments. Control B. And yes, this is being happened. You tend to make a very good approach. You got a cash summaries. Then you look toward a basic working. Here you prepare the drop down. You look toward the conditional formatting as well. And next, how do you approach it? You got to see the result. If I change my 12% from here, my visuals are also being changed. I hope you understand the things. These are being dynamically working, and thus this will be shared to you after the session. For the time being, let's a goodbye from me, and thus we're gonna learn some new things.